Good day, good day. How your mom and them? I know I scare you guys every time I say that, but welcome back to Far Reaches Podcast. We are down a reacher at the moment, a far reacher at that. Rawley's still MIA somewhere, but if he comes and joins us, well, then we'll meet him mercilessly. And as usual, since he's not here, he's obviously busy somewhere else, taking a poop. So we right now have Mr. Richard, Joel, and myself, Micah. We are the Far Reaches Podcast. We can be found at wherever you find your podcast. If it's not there, you're not looking hard enough. And also, thank goodness in the Lord above, we're found on YouTube as well. So you can watch this magic unfold right before your eyes. So we'll jump right in. Richard, Joel, good day, boys. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Like to hear it.
Hey, Mike.
Mr. Joel. We were talking a little bit, we have a little bit of pre-talk usually before we hit our recording because people get online at different times and we try to just say howdy a little bit. And sometimes we have some hidden gems that usually just pop out there. We're like, well, shiitake, definitely should have been recording. So we were discussing some of the local lore of Pendleton. And Joel, we could talk about it a bit more, or we can just leave it at that and tease people. But you want to dive back into that, or do you want to just let them kind of think about, like, Jesus, what were these guys talking about now before we came, quote unquote, on the air?
Well, we'll just tell them the story briefly. We were talking about the rainbow. I was there the other day, and there's a pair of chaps that hang up on the wall. And I brought up that I heard that Rawley had stripped down naked and put the chaps on and lit toilet paper out of his butt and ran out of the bathroom through the bar. And Junior said he did that too, and I never heard him doing it. And there was another person that did it that so we won't bring him into it. But
he can rename nameless for now. Yes, I wasn't there for either of those, but I've heard the story many times around the campfire, and as I know, yes, Rawls, and I believe the official term is the flaming asshole, is what it is. Is you grab the shafts. Of course, it's busy. Rainbow is a world famous tavern in Pendleton, Oregon, for those who have never been there. And if you haven't, please put it on your list. There's a lot of paraphernalia on the walls, including a famous picture of A.E. McCormick that we'll go into at another time. One of the things on the wall is pair of shafts that have the rainbow and the brand on them and such. And so the thing was, you steal those and you set the deal up with your buddies where you go to the bathroom and you strip down naked, take some toilet paper and place it between the cheeks, light it on fire, and literally haul ass through the rainbow, through the front doors into Main Street. And hopefully your buddy you had planned it with is still waiting for you outside on the street in the rig to pick you up. And your other buddies in the bathroom gathered up all your personal items so that you can make your way out of the bar. So every so often it wouldn't get wild and that would happen. So as it turns out.
What year was this?
04, I think. No, I don't know for sure. Not.
Seems like you couldn't get away with that at all.
Well, I think 10 years ago, maybe. I don't know, maybe longer. But you got to remember, the rainbow gets kind of Western at times. So I think we lost Richard. He's just, either that or he's just staring at us in complete defiance and dumbfounded. But I think we lost him. He'll be back. But that's probably the most intellectual look on seeing on Richard's face in a while. So. But yeah, the rainbow is one of those places where, if you get to town, you got to hit it up. And it kind of says something about how your night was too. Like, how was your, what'd you do Thursday? I had a little dinner at Sims, and then wandered around and then stumbled into the bow and okay, well, so there you got that going on. So, yeah.
Perfect.
I've never not had a good trip to the rainbow.
See? Yeah, there's always something entertaining. Yeah. Quite the festivities. You never know. It's such a cross section.
Open again.
They are. That's awesome.
Pretty good time.
Yeah, that's just how Pendleton's supposed to be. So, speaking of that, should we run around the room and give our little weekly updates? What's going on in our little twisted worlds? Joel, you look pretty intense. We'll start with you.
Sure. Yeah, I had a fully packed week. I went and looked, I went and looked at all the goats that are along the river.
Oh, yeah.
Took a bike ride down. So my brother lives by BMCC, kind of that part of town. which is the community college. Rode the bike down to the bike path along the river walkway and rode that all the way to Main Street. But along the way, we stopped and watched the 350 goats on that side of the river for about 20 minutes, which is very entertaining stuff.
So the goats are down there eating some of the brush and stuff away from the river's banks and along the area, and a pretty handy way to keep it cleaned up a bit.
Yeah, so I heard they have to pay like $30,000 for 2.5 weeks of goat usage.
Yeah, I actually know a guy in the Willamette Valley who used to raise a lot of cows, and then he started raising goats, and he was contracted a mountain for that for, blackberry patches around off ramps and things of that nature, and some stuff in towns. And he's like, I make way better money on my goat stuff than I do with my cows. I still keep my cows, but yeah, I make a lot of money with my goats. So
yeah. So we did that. Then we went camping up to Meacham for a night.
Oh, yeah.
I had a buddy come from, my friend and his wife came down from Seattle to get out of that mess for a weekend in a restaurant. That was really funny because my friend Billy, he's like 6'7", probably 300 pounds. He's a big fella. Played football, played in a Rose Bowl for Washington State. Just a big guy. He was a lineman. And they stopped at Walmart to buy us sleeping bags. They didn't bring any with them.
Duct tape two together? Yeah.
He got those cocoon ones. They only had two options, like a children's one and the cocoon ones. And it was a pretty cold night.
Like a mummy bag kind of thing?
Yeah. A mummy bag. And I guess he could barely get it past his thighs. So
yes. Being of similar
pretty miserable night.
I can attest that I usually have to buy the super mega sleeping bags, or I have a bedroll, which is just a big, huge piece of tarp with some buckles on it that you can cram blankets and foam pads and stuff in that I usually take on my excursions because of that. Yeah. Being about 6'4" and right around 300 myself. Yeah. You can't find the average sleeping bag that's going to, unless you bring one up from the bottom and then take another one and put it over the top, so, but I can't sleep that night. So.
And then on that same trip, Brian and Jennifer, they forgot to throw in sleeping bags too. So they were pretty miserable themselves. I slept comfortably. I was pretty toasty.
I'm just dying.
What else did I do?
The brother and sister-in-law forgot sleeping bags. That's pretty classic right there. Yeah.
Did you tell them they were going camping?
Show up here for a day. Oh, by the way, we're camping. Yeah.
I think Jennifer was in charge of the sleeping bags. That's probably what happened. Then, I went to we had a dinner at Semiotti's over the weekend. Some time at the Rainbow. What else did we do? Helped open up the pool. Yesterday was my girlfriend's birthday, so we had a family dinner.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Pretty good week.
That's a pretty good little Pendletonian week right there, my friend.
Yeah.
Not bad. Richard, what's happening?
I got to live my Bonanza dream this weekend. It was awesome. Just like little Joe.
What's that?
I was out amongst the Ponderosas, trailing some cows in a green meadow. Came around a corner, ran into Indian Princess. It was amazing. But later I found out it was all a big scam. They were trying to trap me. No.
Look at Joel.
That was the thought I was having as I was working this weekend, because we've been fortunate enough to lease, and it's been on the down low until we actually got cattle there. We leased a beautiful ranch in Southern Oregon that has always been one of my favorite places. I actually got up the nerve when I was like 12 to call up the owners and ask them when they were done with it if I could buy it.
That's outstanding.
Yes, but the guy that owned it it's just this amazing guy. He's since passed. And the guy that managed it was so to give you a little history, before the Marlboro Man, there was a guy named the Durham Man for Durham cigarettes, and it was a cowboy figure. Well, he is the one that came up with the advertising campaign that was Durham Man, then later became the Marlboro Man. And the guy that ran it and managed the cattle on it was the original Marlboro Man. So, anyways,
Deep in history.
This ranch is just beautiful, and just had 3 beers, which I haven't done in eons. Branded some calves. I roped. You're not supposed to rope at your own branding, but I just wanted to get the entire experience. One of our college buddies, Shad, got bucked off, which just added to the richness.
Oh, poor Shadwick was there? Oh.
Yeah. You should have seen the fear in his eyes as his horse ran by mine. But he recovered, and it was a good weekend. And just been doing some odds and ends, and working on my 7th and 8th grade English. Failed on my 9th graders, so I got a lot of work in.
Keep working at it. It'll come along. It'll get better.
So, anyways, can't think of And then the other highlight of the week is today, Joe Rogan friended me on LinkedIn. We had a nice conversation. It developed into a Bitcoin salesman, and I had to turn him in for spam, but for a fleeting 30 seconds. I thought he was calling up to see if we could get more reaches on Spotify, or more like a warm-up band,
Yeah.
But my hopes were dashed.
Dang it, so close.
Just like the Indian Princess.
Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious. Joel, are you clicking a paperclip or something?
That's me. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn it, Janet. It's been driving me nuts. Okay. Yeah,
I am, but it's not the one making noise.
I kept hearing it click, click, click. Yeah, when Richard said the Joel Rogan thing, I was like, oh, that's too funny. Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of girls on Instagram that want to say hi, too. So, does anybody else get those? It's just hilarious. Like 30 a day. So-and-so wants to send you a message. Yeah. Enjoy.
I get them on LinkedIn, and I go and check all their followers, and there's 500 dudes. I'm like, I don't think this is legit.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah. Joel, have you seen Bonanza? Do you know what Richard was talking about?
No.
Oh, okay. What was it?
That was a TV show.
TV show, yeah.
TV show, right?
60s, I think.
Well before my time.
A little bit, even before mine. Maybe it wasn't the 60s.
60s, 70s.
Yeah, I remember watching it in my youth, but
come on after like Matlock or something.
Little House on the Prairie. Yeah.
Perry Mason.
Little
House on the Prairie.
That was later. Little House on the Prairie was good.
TBS afternoon lineup.
Yep, I used to watch it when I'd come home for lunch from middle school.
Yeah, let's see. According to IMDb, yeah, there's like 430 episodes. It's very prolific. I think it started in the late 60s.
It was the vehicle that carried Michael Landon to fame.
Yes, launched him as Little Joe into, I think, what was Little House and other things after that nature. Lauren Green.
Highway to Heaven, man.
Yeah.
I think that was his big break.
That was after Little Outhouse on the Prairie actually was Highway to Heaven.
For a long time, whenever I wanted to shut it down at night, calm down, relax, and watch TV and fall asleep, I just put Little House on not Little House on the Prairie, but Highway to Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good show.
That's on, I watch Cozy TV every morning. That's where I get my Murder, She Wrote fix. And Highway to Heaven's on there in the afternoons or something. Yeah. But Bonanza was 59 to 73. So apparently I was watching the reruns. But, yeah.
You're probably old enough. I don't know how old you are, Richard, but you guys are probably old enough. You probably watched Saved by the Bell live, didn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly
Kapowski.
I watched Saved by the Bell 5 hung over in my dorm room.
Damn, what's that Zach Morris up to this week? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's how old we are.
I think I could beat just about anybody at Saved by the Bell trivia
I'm sure you could.
confidently. Yeah.
Back in the day, I have to tell my son this. I had to wait until 7:30 or 7 o'clock on Thursdays to watch the A-Team.
Yes.
That's how rough it was.
You had to wait. Yeah, if you missed it, too freaking bad. Unless your buddy taped it, you ain't watching it. You know, like.
And not only that, I had to go and dial the TV into the right station.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we were when I was younger, we saved up for probably a year and a half and bought a satellite dish. You know, the one that was like 12 or 15 foot. I had to dig a 4x4x4 hole and put the pole in it and pour it full of concrete to hold the satellite dish up. So when the wind came by or the snow, it wouldn't tear it out of the ground. That's a lot of digging. Yeah. And gladly. So then, yeah, whenever you want to change channel, I mean, you had the TV guide that came with that when you had satellite was literally like 1.5 to 2 foot tall. And when you open it up, it was probably almost 3 foot wide because you had all these freaking channels and you know, dig through, and then you found it's like, G10 11. So then you got to over to G10, find channel 11. Yeah, it was insane.
My favorite part of the satellite was the satellites in the orbit would phase out. So like you'd be watching something, and then that satellite would go somewhere else, and then you'd have to go pick the channel up somewhere. But sometimes the next satellite that came on had different programming.
Oh yeah, you mean Spanish. Yeah.
You know, we were watching Disney Channel, and everybody was in the kitchen playing cards. It's pretty late, and the satellite's going across the sky, fades out. Next channel that comes in, Penthouse.
Yeah, they were fairly close on the same band, I believe.
So
what one came in?
Penthouse channel. Yeah. So
Oh,
they're
nice.
watching Disney. Of course, try explaining that to your parents, and everybody's over.
Yeah.
The adults are playing cards in the room, and then honest, it just switched to Penthouse. Yeah, likely story. Likely story. Little tech master. Yeah, those were something else. And then the guy that sold us the satellite, I remember him telling us, he's like, someday you're gonna have a little satellite dish on the side of your house that picks up everything. Like, and that was like eons before like Dish Network and DirecTV came around. But when they first came out, I was like, holy crap. Eddie was right. Like, he knew. It was crazy.
Those little tiny dishes that poor people always have in their house.
Yeah. Yeah. For a while, that was like a sign of, uppityness. You had Dish. At DirecTV or Dish Network. We had that in college, and we were absolutely, man. We had that in college.
Oh yeah.
We had Comedy Central then. No, nobody else did, so we could watch freaking South Park. We'd have South Park parties at the house. It was.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like we'd watch it. We'd watch the Eastern feed at like 7, just the house, all 30 of us that lived there, and then so we'd watch it. And then about 8 or 8:30 or 9, everybody else starts piling in the house. We'd have like 50 people piled in the front room to watch the regular feed at 10 o'clock of South Park because you could only watch it on Comedy Central. You couldn't fucking watch it online. And local cable in town did not have Comedy Central. So that's the only place you could watch it. Yeah, it was
popular.
Indeed, yes. It was not the only reason, but one of them. Yeah, South Park parties. That was just another reason for everybody to come over, really.
Yeah. That was the reason to come over on Tuesday.
Yes, there was a reason pretty much every day to be at the White House.
They pretty much had to have a reason not for people to come to the White House.
A house that was never locked. You never knew who was going to be in the front room when you got home, or what you were going to see.
Outbreak of crabs. Don't come in.
Yeah. If you want to cure the Rona, I think there's a cure for the Rona in that carpet, dude. That stuff was evil. Oh. That carpet, man. We cleaned that carpet a couple times. We picked up rocks about the size of a quarter out of that thing. I don't know where they came from. Yeah, it was. We could have a whole episode or two on just the White House, no doubt. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Hey, what was up with your week?
My week was mostly accepting a job in Florida and then dealing with the aftermath of what that's going to mean. And I started my official paperwork today, only remote HR
Congrats.
stuff. So.
Well, did you have to register with TMC for the Florida Man special?
Yeah, exactly. I've been playing the new Florida Man. So thank you, Joel, too, by the way. Got to pick out my own laptop and get a brand new laptop shipped to me. That's a new for me. Usually you get the one when you show up the last person was pissed at. So that'd be a totally new experience to have a brand new laptop getting shipped to me.
Do you have to go to Florida?
Eventually, yes.
You're going to have to move there?
Yes.
What town?
Gainesville area.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have some couple connections there already. One of my former salesmen lives just north of that. Has been a good friend of mine since we first met. So that's pretty cool. And another friend from high school, her husband is a realtor in that part of the world. So that's a pretty handy deal. I didn't really realize that's what part they were in. So a lot of cool things.
Oh, you're gonna be that close.
Yeah.
This, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's been really handy. So in preparation for that, I was cracking up when Richard was telling his story about meeting Joe Rogan, quote unquote, on LinkedIn. I put some stuff for sale on Facebook Market because I don't want to pack everything under the sun to Floridia. And so, I've had some soul searching time these past few months too, of what really makes me happy and what doesn't. And turns out I really don't care about stuff. And so, I have like a picnic table out on my patio and some things like that. And a weight bench and some other crap in my basement I've been cleaning out. And I have a really nice mountain bike. And I thought, well, if I can sell it, I will. If not, I'll take it with because it's really nice and I like it. So I got a message today from somebody and says, will you, so I'm asking like $1,000 for this mountain bike. It's really nice. The guy goes, will you take 1,200 in crypto for it? I said, no. Well, why not? I'm like, crypto's such a pain in the ass. Why, if it's so easy, why would you offer me $200 over the asking price just so you can run it through your crypto crap? Have you ever owned crypto? I'm like, enough, goodbye. This is not about the bike, you schmuck. Yeah, so it was just another crypto bot or something on Facebook Market. And if it is a real person, it's still pretty funny that you're willing to give an extra 200 just for that. Of course, by the time I got around to exchanging it all and going through all the crap, it'd probably be $400. So I said, no, it'll do. So yeah, I've been going through all that and cleaning out. I found papers. I had papers I found from high school that I had kept for some reason. I found a book I stole from the library about cars. I found the most random things that I had been packing around for ages, and I don't know why. So that part's been hilarious to go back and dig through some of the stuff that I've been pairing around since God knows when. But yeah, receipts from stuff in high school and random letters from school, and like I said, stolen library book that I probably won't give back. But
were all your papers A's? Like, it'd be kind of funny to like keep like C or B papers.
So the ones that I had were
not even a good paper.
Yeah, you're like, man, that was a learning moment. Now Richard looks like he was stoned off his gourd for a second. He's back. Yeah, and it was like a lot of. It's fun to see the colleges I had sent off for information in like sophomore or junior year of high school. Places I thought about going. There were some welding schools. There was University of Alaska. There are even some stuff from Blue Mountain. So I had like a Blue Mountain course catalog, and then a bunch of paperwork from the Navy for my my stuff I went through for that. So it was weird to see the progression of what you were thinking and what you did, and all the old actual typed papers and things of that nature. So that part was pretty cool. I threw most of it away because I'd had it in a box for that long and never looked at it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the ginormous construction grade trash bags at the moment. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that.
So you're moving sooner than later? When are you moving?
I would say within a month or so. Yeah. I don't have an official date I've given them, like, I'll be there June 30th, but I know the market's pretty decent in Lincoln right now. There was a house about 2 blocks down that's not quite as good as mine, I would say, or feature. It was on the market for like 2 weeks, so I probably jinxed myself and mine will never sell. But yeah, I drove by today and it's already sold. So we'll see if that continues. But yeah, there's no need to. I mean, I get to work remote until I get there, but no need not to be there. So, but I have some flexibility, which is nice. Most other jobs I've ever had is okay. Well, we'll see you on this date. Of course, my last couple have been remote, so that's been different. But
you think you're just gonna get like an Airbnb for a month or something? When
yeah,
you get there to figure out where you live.
Yeah, I got my buddy I mentioned's got a nice little bunkhouse. He says I can hunker down in for a little bit, so that'll be my first probably crash pad
Nice.
for that. And so I'm thinking I'm just gonna find a nice cargo trailer and get that and load my stuff up. Whatever fits in it's coming with, and whatever doesn't will be dealt with accordingly. So yeah, we'll give it a shot.
I have to share my my journey to minimalism with you.
Yes, I do remember the one time you moved in. It was a Milwaukee's Best beer box with some stuff in it and a saddle, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, I was back in the sample days. So after working in the oil field for 10 years, and I was living in Midland, and I had this house. It was all furnished and everything, and I moved to a smaller house because like, why am I paying for this huge house? So anyways, I really sorted through everything I had, and I ended up owning a bed, a chair, 2 TVs, and some like basic cooking supplies, and the dough room. And that was it. And I was like, this is great. I don't have that much stuff to worry about. But so for a glorious 5 months of my life, I lived like a minimalist dream. And then I got married.
I was waiting for that part.
Now I have so much damn stuff. I've never owned this much stuff in my entire life, and stuff like, I don't even know why I own it, but I have it now.
Because you never know.
The things that I need now that I didn't know that I needed beforehand is, I'm surprised I was able to navigate through life without all this stuff.
How did you make it? By the grace of God and the sharp stick, for sure. That's the only way you're here.
What's the Marie Kondo question?
I think that's the question that's been perplexing many people is how have I made it?
Yes. Yes. We've all asked ourselves that. Cheese and rice, how's Richard still here? Joel, what was your statement?
You guys need to watch that Marie Kondo. Is that her name? Marie Kondo on Netflix?
You're telling us who to watch. I don't know who it is.
She's that Asian lady that asks you the question, does this item bring you joy?
Oh, I've heard. Yeah, okay, I've heard of it. I don't know who the hell. I remember that part. Does this thing bring you joy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was my rationale. Like, this shit's been in a box since some of it's been there since I've been 17. So at one time, maybe it did. It brought me joy to look at it one more time. I kind of laughed and giggled. Then I was like, yoink. So
yeah, it'll bring you joy again in 15 more years, maybe.
And whoever digs the trash and finds it probably will bring them joy now, because it's already in the bag and bye-bye on the Tuesday trash run, and there's a whole other big bag in the Friday trash can. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get a big dumpster for when I get real serious in the next couple weeks when it gets Ninja distro time. So yeah, that's one of my moments of self-discovery these past few months, and figuring out that stuff kind of just irritates me now. I like things, but yeah.
I like things.
I mean, there's things that I hold dear, but I have a lot of crap too. So it's just too much stuff. Now, I'll probably have more shit in another 5 years anyways, but things that have been in a box since I packed up and left Pendleton, it's just been quite a while now. They were still on a shelf in my storage area in the same box that I packed it up and left Pendleton with. So yeah, at one time they're near and dear. I don't serve a purpose anymore. So
I do the same thing. I've been carrying around a shoebox full of high school artifacts for, I don't know, 20 years, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I still have one of those. Obviously there's one of those still, because some things you're never going to get rid of.
Yeah.
because of those things. Sometimes give them to somebody else, or they're going to find them and be like, "What the hell?" That explains a lot about this guy. So we'll see. But
hold on to that old pair of panties that you got in college. You know,
they've been my mask.
Don't even remember where they came from. You have them though.
I did find random earrings. Never mind. I won't even go into that. But yeah. So speaking of packing things around for a long time and sleeping bags, this week's movie brought to you by Mr. Joel was in fact Red Dawn. Joel, great movie. Why did this pop into your head? I'm curious.
I don't know. I guess it seemed like the most manly of Patrick Swayze movies. I'm a big Patrick Swayze fan, but I guess
Roadhouse is right up there.
Roadhouse.
That's a good point. Second most manly Patrick Swayze.
Well, they're back and forth. There's killing in both. Yeah, I guess on the testosterone scale, that would be hard to figure out.
Yeah, Red Dawn. I didn't get. I watched it in pieces. So I was trying to watch it at night, and I kept falling asleep. And then I think I got about halfway through, and I finally found time to sit down and watch it right before this. But I only had an hour, so I skipped ahead. So I missed a chunk in the middle. I gather the movie is about 1984. The time is Ronald Reagan as president. It's in the middle of the potential Cold War, or the Cold War, I guess, right?
Yeah, 84. That's when it came out. Yeah.
And it's a fantasy movie meant to alarm Americans to the potential risk of being invaded by the Soviet Union and Cuba. Communism, right?
Basically.
It was really scary. Like that was in 84, that seemed plausible.
That's some documentary shit in 84, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was trying to gather what the enemy was doing. I guess Cuba invaded from the south.
Well, if you remember at the very,
they came up to Cheyenne.
The very, very beginning, like the opening credits, they're kind of laying stuff out that's going on throughout the world about the hunger strike here and this and that there. There was a lot of parallels to some stuff we've lived through already. Some of it's not happened at all, but like they're kind of laying out all these world events that are going on, and then that leads up to the beginning of the movie, basically.
Yeah. So Cuba invaded through the south. They came up to Cheyenne, they said, and over to Kansas. And America was making progress, and then the goddamn Russians attacked Alaska and came down through Canada.
It's a joint strike. Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think America must have won, but they didn't show it.
Yeah, I think so. You know, because one of the opening scenes is they're in high school, blah, blah, blah. Paratroopers come down. Teacher's like, hey, you guys are and the classic AK sound. The guy gets dusted in the parking lot. And then, like next thing you know, they're just strafing the high school, kids hanging out the window and shit going everywhere. I was like, I forgot this was kind of like that in your face right off the bat. It was hammered down. They're trying to get out of the parking lot and they're blasting the Pontiac, and luckily, of course, Swayze boils through on the step side and loading up the football team and his brothers, and then their RPG sound. That RPG sound still gives me goosebumps to this day when I hear it, because you hear that all throughout the movie. That's like the sound of the RPG squealing is some flashbacks. But yeah, they blow up school buses and get out of town, stop at the sporting goods store. And everybody had that dream, I think, of going to the sporting goods store and taking a sleeping bag and just loading shit up into it. Shotguns, shells, pork and beans, And I thought it was weird, too, that they decided to leave town and not everybody else did. It's just like this select group of, 5 or 6 kids. You guys get the hell out of town. But nobody else did. They just, they stayed there. That struck me as odd now, seeing it.
Communism's a disease that can affect a lot of people, right? They were already infected that quickly.
Turns out, yeah.
It'd be interesting to know how many people would stay. Look at all these people that are still wearing masks.
Yeah, that's good. And that's why.
Probably the same people, yeah.
It probably is. And that's why I was like, Jesus, Joel, what a timely movie to pick. Because of a lot of that similarity. Joel's just like, I'm leaving and going to the bathroom, or maybe he's out of a drink. So
I'm out of a drink, but I got
okay. We can still hear you. So
headphones
that's
in.
yeah. Yeah.
So what are you making tonight?
This is a great question,
What am I-
Richard. Yeah, what are you mixing up? It looks like you go to the bathroom when you go to make that drink, but I'm guessing you're leaving a bedroom and going to the main area.
Yeah, I'm just sticking to beer. I was having an Elysian IPA, and now I'm having a Pyramid Apricot Ale.
You can take the boy out of New York, but you can't. Oh, never mind.
Apricot or apricot? I don't know.
I think it's apricot, but that's probably a regional dialect like almond or almond. So
Nobody says almond.
That reminds me. I have a
Californians say almond.
I have a vintage Colorado beer down in my refrigerator. I need to go get off and partake in.
Which is where Red Dawn was supposedly set at, was Colorado. So.
Oh yeah.
Or Colorado.
Coors is an appropriate drink for this. Then.
Yeah, a little banquet beer. Yeah.
Vintage beer. How old is it?
Who?
I was churching it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a really interesting movie because I obviously watched it a long time ago. Like I said, when it first came out, I watched it. Well, not when it first came out, but like a couple years later, it was on, I don't know if it was Cinemax or HBO or whatever, about every 13 minutes. And of course, we watched the crap out of it because it was pretty cool. Sad in the end, but pretty cool overall because you're not going to take that crap.
Still, like any 80s movie, they got to throw in a weird little curveball there with the 45-year-old lieutenant colonel with a little brief love affair with the high school girl.
Well,
what was that about?
She was sweet on him. I don't think he was reciprocating. I'll put it that way. But
It was still weird.
yeah, that was Curly Bill from Tombstone too. That's pretty funny. Powers Booth, I believe, is his name.
My favorite part was probably the part where they had to shoot their own guy.
That was your favorite part?
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Just because he's a commie bastard. Yeah, he was always the Weasley sumbitch, that snuck into
Got
town.
scared easily.
His dad was the dirtbag mayor who needs his ass kicked. I didn't realize when I was watching the movie when I was younger, but they're trying to find out who these quote unquote Wolverine kids are. So they're talking to the mayor because they think his son's, he's like, oh no, my boy, he's not that kind of leader. He's just a politician. Well, who else is, well, some of the families, and next thing you know, they got a lot of their family lined up in front of a trench. And they're standing there and they're watching, and the mayor's down there, and they shoot all these people and they fall in the trench. Like the mayor gave up those families to save his ass. And I didn't realize that really when I was younger of what was really going on there. And that's really when they kind of had the turning point, and they kind of called out full-out war against the invaders. But, that really angered me a lot towards that piece of crap mayor, mostly.
The mayor is the dad in Son-in-Law.
Yes. Yeah.
Another fine film.
Oh, dude.
A Pauly Shore joint.
A really good one. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the thing I wanted to know about is, had I not watched that Netflix where they go into the movies, they do Ghostbusters, Dirty Dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That Patrick Swayze and what's her name hated each other.
Oh,
it did. Jennifer Grey.
Jennifer Grey, not Aaron Grey.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Two huge movies, and she couldn't stand him. I don't think he cared one way or the other about her.
See, I didn't watch that Dirty Dancing edition of that, so I missed that insight. But I watched the other ones.
I did. I think they cast Patrick Swayze for Dirty Dancing first, and then they wanted to they brought in some people, and Jennifer Grey they had really good chemistry, and she was a good dancer, and they wanted her, but he hated her. That's what I remember from that.
I have to correct you on Patrick Swayze's most manly movie.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Two on Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
I guess you have to be pretty masculine to have that much confidence to. I've not seen that. I just remember. Aren't they dressed in drag? Is that right?
Yeah, the whole movie.
The whole movie. I haven't watched that one either. I guess I've been missing out. So, I think Jennifer Grey's best work, I think, was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's just me, though. So now, what was the other one? Thompson, Leah Thompson. Yeah, Leah Thompson. I liked her in this. She was good in Red Dawn.
Wasn't Jennifer Grey and Uncle Buck? Is that Jennifer Grey?
No, that's a different chick.
No.
Leah Thompson was in Back to the Future. She was She was the mom. But I can't remember the chick's name was in Uncle Buck, but that was a different gal.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at your IMDb.
Pretty sure. Yeah. I'm kind of an Uncle Buck aficionado. Yeah. That gal was like younger. I haven't seen her in much else. She had a lot more angry too. Yeah. See, Uncle Buck was in like 89. And so, yeah.
Who was that?
I know we're not supposed to bring up the modern.
Tia Russell
Australian
was.
Oh.
Her name was Jean Louisa Kelly. From Worst to Mass. Anyways, yes, Redbird.
The Australian version of Red Dawn with Thor. But I did like the EMC device that they set off and killed all the power in the second one. I thought that was a good stand-in for nuclear war.
You talking about the 2012 version?
Yes.
The EMP device?
EMP, that's what I was looking
Electromagnetic pulse. Yeah.
Yes.
I've not seen the second one. I sort of refuse to imbibe upon it because of my memory and respect of the original. But was it worthwhile? It's not pretty movie snobbish.
It's pretty much a. I like the premise of it. The acting and everything sort of flat, but I thought for the plot, the remake of Red Dawn, they did that justice by updating it with some like modern.
Mm-hmm.
Something that was plausible and would happen in modern times, and they picked the right bad guy because it was China.
Well,
China.
Say it.
I like how Trump says China.
He says
China.
China. Yeah, you get a lot of him. That's funny too, because one of our roommates for a brief time in college, his nickname was China. So I always laugh when I hear that because I think about China.
Is he Chinese or?
No, his name's Chris, and we had this really crazy hippie stats teacher, and she was really into all of us working in groups and stuff, and she was reading out his name the first or second day, and she gets to him, and Chris has like this really loud, deep voice. It's hilarious, and she's like going through all the names. She's like, I'm China, and he goes, it's Chris. She's like, oh, sorry, and so from that, he's freaking branded as China. And so I think he's even still on my phone, CHYNA, China. Last I knew, he was like flying helicopters in the Army. He's probably retired by now, but yeah. So China is a 6'4" cowboy guy that flies helicopters.
Hey, I'll tell you what, out here in Pendleton, Micah, Richard, I do not stay very connected to the news. What's going on with COVID these days?
Well, we just passed, according to the news, a landmark of over 100,000 that have fallen victim to COVID, according to that. So that's the latest I've got. I think a lot of states are going. Let's see. What's going on in Minnesota? No, what's Michigan? No, shit. Minnesota's going crazy.
Minnesota with that fucking cop. I watched that video.
That's awful.
What a fucking murder.
Yeah,
I think it looked like he did that shit on purpose.
Everything I've seen is not good on that. I don't like people burning shit down and looting.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's ridiculous.
How embarrassing is that? But Jesus Christ.
Yeah, whatever I saw that video, that's awful. That's inexcusable. I can't believe somebody just didn't tackle that bitch. I might go to jail for assaulting an officer, but I'm like, you saw the film and it's like 6 or 8 minutes long. Like at one point, no, like seriously, that's ridiculous. So
there seemed to be a point in the video where the guy like stopped moving, looked like he was about dead, and then the cop ever so slightly looks like he like shifts even more weight.
It's really weird
on the neck.
Awful. I mean, like it just kind of makes me sick when I've seen it. And unfortunately, it's really unfortunate that all the other crap's going on and sort of, in my mind, taking the focus off really what's at hand is the interaction between those cops and that guy. That's really what needs to maintain the focus, not the burning car. Even this afternoon, 7:00 tonight, I was watching an update, and there's a burning car in like the Target parking lot, and people are just throwing shit on fire. The cops aren't doing anything. They said it's too dangerous to respond, which
they took over a police station.
Yeah, I just don't buy the too dangerous to respond. You don't have to be right in somebody's kitchen to hit them with some tear gas or something, or what. I mean, seriously, it's like march, protest, all you want. I'd probably be there right next to you, but I'm not going to burn any shit down or throw it. It's like you take away from the message in my mind when you start going down that other road. That's just that's how I look at it.
Okay, granted, I have not seen any of this because I've just checked out, so I apologize to society for not being informed. But don't you think this is a marginal reaction of everything? I mean, you can only stress animals out for so long, and you have to reasonably expect that this kind of reaction is going to happen.
Definitely, Richard. That is a phenomenal point. I was trying to find an article before we came on the air.
Can you make the point again? He kind of cut out. I didn't catch it.
Just saying, like, we've all been, this is really a result of all of us being locked down and stressed and chaotic. I mean, that adds to the fire and the fuel, I think, for sure is that. It's not the only thing, but it certainly is something I think everybody can relate to a bit more. And the stat I was trying to dig up before is just how much suicides and domestic abuse is up in the past 2 months. Like it is insane. Like more suicides, and I can't have the exact quote of where it came from, but I know what I read the other day. More suicides year to date than we usually have the whole entire year. Already.
And those are the people that were getting censored on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. People are saying those reactions are what are going to happen when you do this. This is a cause and effect thing. It's like a psychology. There's like a psychology to it. Mm-hmm. This is going to be the outcome. And they had no platform, and that sort of goes into the other news of the day. Yeah, they had no platform, and they were actively censored from sharing that piece of their side of the story. And it doesn't matter if they're liberal or conservative. They were actively stopped from being part of the public debate on any form that matters.
It's completely unacceptable.
Well, I heard Trump. I haven't had time to look, but wasn't Trump going to make some announcement today about something to do with Twitter and censorship?
Yes.
Did he ever do that?
It's executive order, and I actually had that as our intellectual moment of the week because there was some legislation in the early 90s. I think it's called like Section 230 or something that basically says these online people are just hosting platforms, and therefore they can't be held accountable or liable for what people say on it. I think that's the gist of the language, that they're not producing any of it. They're not the media part of that, and that's why they're different than like the news. They're just a host for you to come on there and spout whatever bullshit you want. Well, we all know for sure that's not what all these sites are. You get censored all the time. People's YouTube page or Facebook page or Instagram gets taken down all the time for things they find inappropriate. Even this past week on Memorial Day, people would put up a post that showed like 4 pictures. It was like a lady over a coffin and a soldier and like 2, and nothing was what I considered in my mind remotely inappropriate. And there was the little blur thing over it saying this is extreme, and you have to click on here to view this picture that might be inappropriate. And it was literally
pictures of coffins.
Yeah, for Memorial Day. It was a lady kneeling over a coffin and like praying with a flag on it. And I saw that like 4 or 5 times on Facebook where that picture was deemed inappropriate and you had to click on it if you wanted to really see it. And I know friends of mine who have pages that have been taken down for things that they said about Second Amendment or about suicide or all these things. And so they have been. And what got Trump more interested in it is they quote unquote fact checked a couple of his tweets and said this is the true story. So they were in fact controlling what was on the platform and
well, that's really simplifying the issue. I think the issue is that the censorship only goes one direction, and that is censoring more of a Republican or right-wing
Certainly.
even though it's not any more outlandish. I'm not going to say it's accurate and true, but it's not any less true than some of the bullshit that the left peddles.
A lot, yeah. Where was for the past 3 years? Like Adam Schiff's been saying, he has proof about the collusion. If you want to take an example, and nothing's ever come up or ever been said, and I think it's been proven several forms that nothing was ever there. Yet none of his tweets were fact checked or anything like that. And I think you hit it on the head, Joel. It definitely is skewed one direction. I think it should be. It's our job as humans to sift through the crap. Like if you want to believe everything that's online, that's your own damn fault. Really, I think so. I think it should be both sides. And whatever you want to put on there. If you don't want to watch it, then don't freaking watch it. That's my mind. I think that's too simple. I think that's how it originally started.
You should do like what they used to do in the 80s and 90s and surround yourself with good friends that will ridicule you when you do dumb shit and believe dumb shit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like, hey, Joe Rogan friended me on LinkedIn. You're a dumbass. That didn't happen. Seriously.
That's a great segue into the Joe Rogan's official announcement. Well, he did a little teaser announcement that he was going to Spotify, but did you see the full-throated one with Dave Packman?
No, I did not. Yeah.
He talked for 30 minutes about why he wasn't mad at YouTube for censoring, but why he was mad at YouTube for censoring. But he wasn't leaving YouTube for censoring to go to Spotify. It was just a better deal, but he was really leaving YouTube to Spotify because they were annoying the hell out of him. And this poor liberal guy, I don't think he's ever going to be back on the podcast again because Joe was done with any monitoring of free speech whatsoever. It was probably the most brilliant 30 minutes of the Joe Rogan show I've ever seen.
Oh, I got to check it out. And I can't remember who it was. Somebody the other day was talking about, it was the barber in Michigan who'd been shut down and told him, go pound sand. I'm going to cut hair anyways. And he goes, what happened to the Democratic Party of the 60s? It was all about protecting free speech and letting people do and say what they wanted and felt like. And now they're the ones clamping down on everybody and saying, you can't talk about this, you can't go do that. Virginia, you have to have a fucking mask on to go outside? Just to go outside. That's what the governor has declared. You have to have a mask on to go outside. I think
at the same time they're saying that there's at the same time I understand like if a company wants to make you wear a mask to go in their store,
sure,
into an enclosed space, but I'm seeing so many complaints from like I still look at the NYC Reddit subreddit, and every day there's people complaining like, oh, I was out for a walk and I must have seen 30 people that didn't have a mask on. Well, the CDC has said, I don't know if it's the CDC, but some experts have said, I don't remember where I read it, but it's like there's no super spreader events recorded that took place outdoors. People aren't spreading this shit outside, and to make people wear a mask to go outside, like that is, and they're just giving away their freedoms. They're just giving it away. And when is that going to end? When are they going to say, okay, you can take your mask off now? They won't say that.
No, once they get the freedom.
Because, flu season's coming up again. You better put your mask on.
How come it's so ridiculous? Yeah, I was just talking about it earlier today. If you look at Doc Fauci just a while ago, take those ridiculous masks off, is what he says. And 2 weeks later, we should all wear masks. And then, like last week, we got to get everybody out of lockdown. People are going to go ape shit and kill each other. Basically, is what he said.
Oh my god! Did you see the MSNBC clip of the guy reporting the news on along the beach?
Yeah, I think I sent it to you guys. Didn't I send it to you guys?
I don't know. I didn't see.
Yeah, he's wearing his mask and he's like, "Oh, these people are just basically calling everybody assholes for not wearing a mask." And then he actually zips around to this dude walking out of his car. He's like, "Yeah, look at this guy right here." And it's some dude wearing a Packers jersey. He's like, "Yeah, and your freaking cameraman's not even wearing a mask. Half your crew's not wearing a mask." And the guy's like,
"Didn't that guy remind you from Dauber from Coach?"
Totally, dude. Yeah, it was hilarious. And then you can see the reporters just like, "Well, shit, I guess this is over." He just kind of shirks down, and the lady in the studio's like, "Quite the scene out there, Jim." And I was like,
it's so clearly an agenda, which is incredible. They just get caught time after time with their stupid agenda. And you mentioned Michigan with Gretchen Whitmer as the governor of Michigan.
That's her name.
And her whole thing about banning people from going to their second homes in the woods. And then
and guess where she was at?
her fucking husband went up there to rake leaves in May. And he was raking leaves, and he was only up there for maybe a night or two. Like, what is that, a 48-hour job?
He was trying to get his boat put in the water. Of course he says, well, it doesn't help if I'm the governor's husband. Of course they say now that was an ill-timed joke. And then I saw pictures of her over Memorial Weekend at a picnic table, surrounded by people, and no mask on. Same thing with the governor of Virginia, who was walking down the beaches, taking selfies with people with no mask on, even though his current executive order is if you're outside, you need to have a mask on. Same thing in LA. I don't know why people aren't just saying, go cram it up your ass, because it's ridiculous.
All I can say is Kristi Noem for president.
Say again?
Kristi Noem for president, 2024.
Is that the press secretary?
South Dakota.
Oh, yeah, South Dakota governor. Yeah, she's badass. I'm not as good.
Well, the press secretary, Kaylee.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord. That is the best YouTube watching currently
on
the planet.
Here's a decorative basket with your ass in it as I'm handing it to you every day. Yeah, she's highly entertaining.
I just fast forward to the last 10 minutes where she just dines on reporters. It's like blood sport.
The notes that she has, I'd love to see her notes, because she must have a note for pretty much any feasible comment, because she just looks down and is like, whoosh, ninja, and then she goes on to the next one. I'm like, wow, that's impressive.
Well, you know who her first big boss was? This isn't her first time working for an asshole.
I don't know.
Don Minimus.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know much about her.
Did you ever watch Imus in the Morning when it was on Fox Business?
Every once in a while. Not very religiously, but yeah.
Yeah, she was the little blonde girl that did all the computer stuff.
Oh, be damned. Well trained. Yes. Well trained. But yeah, it's mind blowing. If you look at the timeline of everything that's happened and where we are today and what's going on, I don't freaking believe any of it. It blows my mind. It does not seem real at all.
Yeah, the other thing that's not getting enough attention, and I hear about it because I follow the news that would report such a thing, but you don't hear about it on CNN, is Cuomo. You get so much credit for doing a good job in New York, and people are in love with him now, but what the fuck were they doing sending COVID positive patients to live in nursing homes? Did you see the video of that dude beating the shit out of that really old guy?
Yeah, like a 20-year-old guy. They had whole hospitals empty. They had that freaking ship set up. They had pop-up hospitals everywhere for people for overflow, and yet they're going there. And of course, he just blames it on the administration. And
that happened in several blue states, didn't it? It happened in New York and New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where else, but
yeah. Well, I wonder why you don't hear about it on CNN. It's because his brother.
It's almost like they did it on purpose. Yeah. And, oh my God,
that's the most ridiculous
banter between the two of them.
Yeah, it makes my stomach turn. And that leads to the overall thing, of why I get so mad about censorship online or anywhere else, because you can't believe a freaking thing you hear on the quote unquote news at all. I mean, have you ever listened to a montage? That's why when we first started talking, I was talking about the I think it's Landmark, whatever we hit the 100,000 people they say that died of corona. I heard a clip of every freaking news show on TV or the radio. They said the same exact phrase every single time about that quote or about that fact. Another a tremendous landmark of 100,000, and they said that exact wording on every freaking news channel. They played it all back to back. It was like landmark. It was a specific word, and I was just so angry I forgot even what it was. But what's the odds that every single reporter on the news and TV is going to say that same exact phrase? Doesn't that strike you as odd?
Yeah.
I mean, Richard was like, Jesus, calm down. Yeah, Milestone. Was it Milestone?
Probably.
I couldn't remember. It was something that was it's not a common term, really, especially these days, but every single person said it. And it was at least 20, 25 people, minimum.
Now you're getting it. Now you're getting into the persuasion argument, or persuasion. So this is all Scott Adams' gig, but he wrote a couple books on this, and Robert Cialdini. There's a very much an orchestrated choosing behind the words of how things are worded to be the most persuasive, and there's big money thrown at people that have this art nailed down to just have it nailed down to an art form, and especially in presidential election years. And Trump is, according to Scott Adams, just a natural at it. Like, he calls it weapon grade persuasion. But the Democrat Party, Hillary, towards the end, when it started looking right after the feigning, her message changed because they hired another person that was an expert in persuasion, and they think it probably was Robert Cialdini himself. So, anyways, if you really want to go down a rabbit hole, read Win Bigly by Scott Adams and Loser Think, and Persuasion and Influence by Robert Cialdini. And those patterns of those words are definitely on purpose. They're well chosen. And yeah, it's no, and they're orchestrated. They're tools. They're just everything about it is systematic.
It's talking points.
It happens.
Yes.
Yeah, both parties use it.
100%.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about, it used to be called global warming, and then the Republicans rebranded it as climate change to sound less scary.
It wasn't the Republicans. Right? It was the left again, because like global warming wasn't happening. So now it's climate change.
Right. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. It's less threatening to call it climate change.
No, it's just more overall spectrum and covers more of the shit. Like, it's actually not really warming, so we're going to call it climate change, because whichever way it goes, we're okay now.
What do you mean it's not warming? It is warming. Overall, the world,
we're not going to go down this road today, but no.
I have a critically important thing I want to discuss with you.
Sure.
When are we going to get over this Karen thing? I'm about done with Karen.
I was going to mention that earlier.
Yeah, I would agree.
This Karen business.
Yeah.
It is so obnoxious.
I would agree. All the way around.
I think it was funny at first, but I'm done with it.
I did like a group of Karens is called a complaint. I think that's probably my favorite.
I heard a group of Karens is called a cunt.
The one I saw was a complaint, but that's also appropriate. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, I would agree. It's
people thinking they're funny when they use it. I think that's what bothers me the most about it, is they think they're being funny. And it's just not funny.
It's not. I would agree. Yeah.
Okay, come on up here.
Let's go ahead and shift gears. Joel, are you ready for your word of the week?
I thought we were going to do something we learned first, because I learned something this week.
Oh, you did?
Or am I going out of order?
You're
later?
What we learned next after word of the week. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do word of the week. Word of the week is rubric. RUBRIK.
Rubric. I remember now on Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, his name was Ruprecht, but that's not quite the same thing. Rubric sounds like some kind of measure of mass or distance with quantum physics and shit. It's about 2 rubrics. I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me.
2 rubrics met in the woods.
No,
it's the rebranding of syllabus.
Syllabus?
No, really. When if you go to school now, you don't get a syllabus anymore. You get a rubric.
No,
is that true?
Yep.
I think that might be true. That's what I said earlier. I don't really understand the meaning of it. The way I came across it was today. I did a Oregon State University College of Business volunteer thing. I volunteered as a judge for students to judge their presentations on. They were doing it presenting to us, the judge, and we were supposed to be leadership of the company Jewel, and they were talking about how they can rebrand it and get it back in line, right? It's a case study for the business
Mhm.
students. And I had to record their scores on the rubric. And it's just a form. I think it's an outline, so it makes sense that it's also
Well, I'm
a
looking
syllabus.
at on Merriam-Webster.com, and like the first one is authoritative rule, especially a rule for conduct of liturgical service. Title of a statute, something under which a thing is classed, i.e., the cessations falling under the general rubric pressure. It's RUBRIC, is that correct?
Yeah.
An established rule, tradition, or custom. And that's on, let's look on Wikipedia. Rubric's also a cloud management company based in Palo Alto. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. Way to bastardize a good word.
Just another case of colleges making up new words that we're all supposed to learn.
Well, yeah, a title, heading, direction, or the like in a manuscript, book, statute, etc., written or printed in red or otherwise distinguished from the rest of the text. A direction for the conduct of divine service or the administration of the sacraments. It's inserted in liturgical books, LITURGICAL. Any established mode or conduct of procedure or protocol. That's how I've heard it, I think, before. Or an explanatory moment. So
That makes sense. It's a very prescriptive document. Like it's a PDF, and you had to fill in certain fields.
Okay. And I can see how it could be stretched into a syllabi as well.
I still haven't had anybody successfully explain to me what was wrong with the syllabus. I mean, it's been good for a few thousand years, so
It has been around a while. Yeah. And even we knew what the plural was, syllabi. So that was pretty impressive.
And once you figure out the plural, you feel kind of smart.
You almost mastered at that point.
And it's easier to say than, syllabus day in college was fun because that's first day class. Just get your syllabus. Doesn't have the same ring when it's like a rubric. It's hard to say.
I instantly think of when he played the special guy in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, when rubric was like the, Oklahoma, and he's running around. He's got the eye patch on because he stabbed himself in the eye with his fork. That was rubric. So that's
I feel like someday it's going to be a Vin Diesel movie.
There's that too. Yes. He was a man known as Rubric. Yeah. In a world where masks are now mandatory. Rubric. It's got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It can happen.
Or if Riddick has a son, it's only natural his name would be Rubric.
Yes. Yes, because Rubric is the half of a Riddick. So if you divide a Riddick by 2, you get a rubric. So
it's new math. Don't worry about it.
It's new math. Oh God, yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's a good word, Mr. Joel. Definitely something I was unaware of. Yeah, which is so now we switch to our favorite segment of what we learned either today or in this most recent hour.
So since I was so anxious to bring this up,
yeah, exactly. I'm waiting for you.
I haven't bothered to Google it yet, but this is another Joe Rogan nugget. So he had an expert on, and I think sustainability, and they were talking about as far as like farming, like crop type farming, is that we only have 60 cycles of topsoil remaining before we're just fucked. Can't grow anything anymore. Is that true? Have you guys ever heard about this?
I'll say it is and it isn't. I mean, it's a good talking point, and the expert was Joel Salatin.
Yeah.
So, and that podcast was awesome. Joe first time that he was on Joe Rogan's show, it was sort of fun and novel. And this time, like, he had Rogan's full attention, and he was listening and nodding and agreeing, which was, I think, a huge win for agriculture.
Definitely.
But
Man crush on Joe Rogan.
my wife is critiquing Joe Rogan.
I thought you said you have a man crush on Joe Rogan.
On Joe Rogan, yeah, I do.
I think we all do. I do. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do. Everybody does. Yeah, all men do.
But I'll never cheat on Jocko.
I think Jocko would appreciate that. Yeah.
I'd like to see him do a grudge match, though. That would be awesome.
Whew. That'd be Western for sure. Yeah.
I'd pay for that. Let's go back to this. Oh, yeah, I think it's a good talking point. So, I honestly do believe that we are quickly depleting our soil to the point where there's going to become a point where we can no longer put synthetic inputs into it and get the returns that we need to grow nutritional food and do this great myth of feeding a growing population, which in all accountability, except for India and China, is shrinking incredibly fast. I think we should be feeding our regions. But yeah, I think that it's probably not 40 or 60 cycles, but I would say it's definitely serious, and we really need to start reimagining how we're going to rebuild our soil and get life back into it, because a lot of soil life has been sort of quenched out of it. So I think that's going to be incredibly important, and I think I'm not buying so much into the thing, but I think that the reality is the nutritional values in our foods have fallen considerably, sometimes 60% in the last 40 years. And that is a huge question that we have to address in providing not food for everybody, but the best possible food that we can for people that we have now.
So you're
That's
saying
my
that
soapbox.
nutritional value has dropped 40 to 60% in the foods we're raising? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Do you think that's due to the soil being reduced of what it has, or the fact that we're more emphasis on volume of our food than necessarily nutritional value? I'm just thinking about if you're growing a new variety or you're trying to make something better, you always try to get it as good as you can. But I think a lot of times volume is what's focused on. So do you think it's
higher yield,
that or a bit of both? Probably
a little bit of both. I mean, I think that what I'm learning, and especially in this last week, I've had some fascinating conversations. Look, the literacy rate about agriculture is basically zero in this country.
Yes.
So it goes back to that persuasion conversation that we had too. That 40 cycles is a very persuasive way to start waking people up about food. It's a little bit disingenuous, but we are sort of in a unique position as first world country to start addressing the issues with our food chain. And some of it has to do with nutritional value. And I think, and I think that it would be also disingenuous to say that we are taking 100% honestly taking care of some of the soils in our country.
Yeah, I think we're doing a better job than we had in like, obviously you think about the Dust Bowl days and things of that nature. I think we have a long ways to go. I think it's something we need to keep at the forefront for sure. I think that's kind of what you're saying too, is like, it's a great topic that 40 cycles sticks in your mind, or 60, whatever it is. And we need to make sure we're focused on doing what we can to hold our soil as much as we can, because it takes a long time to get it back. Longer than we're probably going to be around now. Some of it blows up. I'd love to see the map again. I've seen it when I was in college, where the map, where wind erosion comes along, and then where that dirt goes. I say dirt, sorry, Dr. Kemnick, soil. Where that soil goes and how that cycle goes too, because it's kind of like rain in some parts. It does float around and come back down in other parts of the world. Doesn't do any good here. But
yeah, is this an issue of not leaving your field fallow? If you leave it fallow for a year, does it regain a lot of the nutrients? Is it because people plant and harvest the same field year after year? Like if you leave it fallow for a year, does it rejuvenate?
The 1 year probably is not going to be bad. 13 years with no root structure in between crops and no cover and synthetic stuff to keep it going, it's probably extremely bad. I mean, a lot of people grow monocultures over and over and over and over, and never has that been all right. Always you have to do rotational crops.
Yeah,
A lot of
you're
that
going to get disease and just a reduction in the organic matter and the certain nutrients. Like if you grow wheat in the same field year after year after year, like just your inputs to get it back to where it used to be is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know Oregon State's working on that because I used to work on that at the station. They would experiment with different ways of whether it's burning or no-till farming.
Mm-hmm.
Was what it was. I don't remember the details.
It's kind of twofold. We're talking, if there's crop rotation, like I'm going to put in peas or a legume or something after I have a wheat to give some nitrogen back and fix some nitrogen on the soil. And then there's also cover crops and really the important thing is organic matter, like broken down roots and stubble and all that stuff that goes back into helping keep the soil healthy and microbes and building again, versus just leaving it open and fallow and nothing done into it and just planting the same crop every single year and not putting everything back that you're taking out. And like Richard said, eventually you can't take it all, you can't put it all back just because of how the soil is and its current capacity. Sometimes it won't hold what you try to put back on it.
Okay.
And one of the interesting arguments I think about that I've been struggling with is so you have context. You have Joel Salvin, Will Harris that are on the East Coast. They get 70 inches of rain a year, so they have the ability to grow multiple crops, grow multiple species on their land, and ultimately they can build these incredibly healthy soil organisms, and they have a lot more options. Now you're in Pendleton. What do you guys get for rain a year? 11 inches, 16 maybe?
Yeah, it's probably the 12 to 15 inch zone, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
So
that drastically limits the amount of stuff you're going to be able to do. So you're probably going to
growing degree days as well. Let me say that again. Growing degree days, i.e., you don't have the heat that you need for a long enough time sometimes to grow everything also.
Yeah. So you might be able to get your wheat crop off and get a cover crop. And you don't probably have the water to raise your alfalfas and your triticale or your pasture grasses. So there's things that can happen. But, I mean, part of it is a lot of farmers just don't want to do the fences to keep animal livestock in on, like, stubble and stuff and keep that root structure in the ground and that kind of stuff instead. So they just plow it up and they park everything and wait till it's time to plant. So we're in this. I just think that right now we're in this incredibly disruptive phase in agriculture. Right now, all the regional packing plants in Washington State have been shut down. There's only 2 working, and they're only processing their own cattle. So anybody that doesn't have an agreement with those 2 packing plants in Washington is basically up a creek. And we're going to see some people leave agriculture because they don't have a way to get there. They're small operators, but it's a sad state. And everybody's like, oh, well, we're loosening the laws on these. Well, they're still not letting open those packing plants. The die's already been cast for a lot of ranchers and farmers in Washington, and I'm sure there are other states that are similar. They're not going to come back. So that's the case. It doesn't matter what laws we pass now to make things better. This pandemic has destroyed a small percentage of the agriculture base, and we just need to face the facts. That's what happened.
Everything's going to hell in a handbasket.
I don't want to say that. I mean,
it's one of these crazy cycles. Definitely, it's one of the weirder ones we've ever been in because it's not only markets and everything else. We're doing it to ourselves basically more than we ever have before, and we're finding out just how related all parts of the economy are to each other. You can't really just segment one section out and be like, that doesn't matter. Everything is connected because if if the restaurant's closed down, then nobody's there working at the restaurant. The restaurant's not buying any food. The people who are working at the restaurant are probably buying less food because they don't have a job. And you multiply that over the entire system, and everybody who's trying to produce food, it's got nowhere for it to go. The places that usually get it processed or shut down because of the disease, that can't go out that way. And it just grinds to a halt, which is what we're seeing. So, you have to spin it back up. You got to have all sectors of the market working, or time to adjust to the new thing that's going to happen. I'm not ever going to say new normal. But unfortunately, as we talked about like last week about the life cycle of the cattle market, and it's a live product. It's not, when my corn is ready to harvest, I harvest it and I can put it in my silo. It's a little more difficult with beef. When it's time to harvest, you got to have someone to do it and somewhere more importantly to store it while that happens. And there's some of that, but it's not, you don't have near the capacity to store a year's supply of beef as you do with your wheat or your peas or anything else, which is always, a lot of times anyways, stored post-harvest until it can be sold or picked up and shipped to where it's going to the next person. That's part of the, if you will, one way where the beef supply is weak in that segment because it's always moved on to the next stage and never stopped because it's growing and alive, and the harvest is pretty involved.
I will say the encouraging thing is that I had a lot of sad conversations this week, especially the one with the Washington producers, which convinced me that we're never going back to where we were before. There's no way that it's going to happen. But I have talked probably in the last 2 days over 8 hours to people that are incredibly interested now in the agriculture space because it has now dawned on them as how fragile agriculture is. And that's why I say that most of the American public has zero conception of how the agriculture system in the United States works.
People legitimately think it comes from the store.
Yeah. And now that the store shelves are empty and they're worried about where their food's coming from, they're waking up to the fact that something's not right in the hen house of agriculture.
A, it's not made in the back of Safeway, and B, it shouldn't be imported from other countries that we can't depend on.
Yep. And I welcome them, and I've been preaching to people in agriculture that they're going to have to get used to this new Zoom reality that we live in. They're going to have to learn how to talk to different type of people to get ahead. And the ones that don't, they're going to be the casualties of the disruption. Really, you're going to have to be nimble and less conservative than you were in the past, and there's a bright future ahead of you. But if you're going to put your head in the sand and believe that none of this happened, after I got off that call in Washington, you're basically going to be extinct in agriculture. This is the direction that agriculture is. There's a lot more stakeholders as of COVID-19, and it's going to be a wild ride for a while. And I just can't emphasize enough to people in agriculture: start educating yourself about your markets, start listening to your customers, and you're going to have to answer some really weird questions. But if you don't do it, you're going to be a casualty. So,
I think we're always good at finding ways to adapt out of the craziness that comes to us. We don't like it because it's different. We don't like how we got here. But I think you hit it on the head, Richard. It's the people who can say, all right, I'm gonna acknowledge where I'm at and what I can do differently, or how I can adapt to the crazy shit that's coming at me every day. Because there's two choices. You can say it's not really happening, or I'm not gonna buy into it, or don't worry about it. Or you can say, how am I gonna pivot and make this an advantage, and to maximize what I'm gonna do? It's not always easy. It's usually painful. It's stuff you don't want to talk about. It's different. It's scary. It's weird. It pisses you off because you're like, why did this have to happen? I was perfectly happy the way it was before. Well, we all were. Eventually, the arm was going to grow back a little bit, but the arm's been cut off, and we got to figure out how to do things with one arm now and get better at it. So and that's been the case a lot of times. I think if we look back at different points of technology or post-war or whatever, that things have been shifted. I think one of the benefits might be that people are really waking up and realizing that ag in the U.S. is extremely important. It's like you said, very fragile, and people need to. One of our very first conversations, I think I was asking, like, why is ag been painted as the bad guy so long in all these different sectors? And yeah, don't get me wrong, we're not exactly doing everything right all the time, but we still have the safest, best food you can grow anywhere in the world right here in your backyard. And why we've been painted as the scoundrel and the evil corporate guy, or however you want to frame it, has always made me scratch my head. Why? Because it's right here in your backyard.
Well,
it's the best food
aren't
ever.
Aren't they talking about the big producers? Not.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous too. I'm sorry, I don't buy this evil corporate.
Is it?
Some of my best friends are quote unquote evil corporate farmers. Now, I think sometimes if a huge company just owns it and they don't know what the hell's going on the ground, that's one thing. But it's either going to go broke or they're going to do it right. But yeah, I've got great friends I went to college with and known my entire life that if you look on the definition of what people deem as a evil corporate farm, it's them. And they're not evil. They just happen to be huge in a corporation and farm 15,000 acres. But if you look at them on paper and you just go them down through the list, like, evil corporate farm. You're like, no, that's freaking Dennis and Martha. What are you talking about?
I was thinking more like the Tyson.
Well, that's not really a farm. That's that's part of the integrators. Yeah. There's good and bad with those a-holes. I think we need that much volume to be able to go through. It needs to be more diverse where it can go.
Yeah.
But
we need a lot of chicken wings at football season.
Yeah.
I'll share with you my perspective on this. I also don't believe that they're evil, but I do believe that much of marketing of agriculture and multinational companies has been tied back to the producer, which is a totally separate business than those businesses. But they trade on the business of the rancher or the farmer that is basically on the ground trying to do the best for his little piece of land or his animals. And for a majority of those people, they do a wonderful job, and they have been doing a wonderful job since the beginning of our country. But what happens is the corporations do shady stuff sometimes. They get in trouble, and the public misconstrues it as coming from the source of where it came from, when those people on the ground have no control over what the corporation was doing that was a little bit corrupt or a little bit shady. And so the public just generally lumps everybody in together, and that's how the confusion happens. But 95% of all ranchers, and we're talking about all sizes, if you're the guy that's on the ground, believe me, you've got a good plan. You're trying to do the very best you can, and you're probably not the one that's causing the problem. It's probably way upstream from where you are.
So you got any light you can turn on or shed in your situation? You just keep slowly drifting into the darkness.
Joel or me?
Joel.
Oh.
I mean, he's in the dark usually anyways, but it's even worse now. Let there be light. There we are.
Which one do we want? That one?
Let's try that. Yeah. The nice ambiance of the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Richard. I think the average person on the ground is trying to do the best job they can to be there the next year. And keep going on. And I remember back to the days when I worked for the cattlemen, and then sustainability was the real just boiling out buzzword. And of course, it was coming from the other side of the aisle, so they were instantly opposed and had their hair up about it. Because you need to be more sustainable. And it's like, well, that's such a subjective word. Yeah, we want to be as friendly as possible, but the main point is for me to be here next year with my ranch, raising cows and doing the best I can. That to me, that means sustainable. To you, from the other side, you're looking at a completely different thing. And that's part of the problem too, is we're not always talking the same language.
So what did you guys learn this week?
I learned
my learning led to a 30-minute dialogue.
Awesome. You might want to go turn the other light on. It turns out the closet's not good enough for you. Sorry. What did I learn? Oh, several things. I think I learned A, that I keep stuff way too long. B, that I actually enjoy purging it almost as much as I enjoy having it to begin with. And I've also learned that when you put something for sale online, you get some really, really crazy questions in people.
True American, just love throwing shit away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think anybody needed the, report card from me from sophomore year of high school, but yeah. I do have a recycling bin that is full as we speak. So I recycle, but yeah, not a tremendous amount of, there's some self-enlightenment, I guess, about stuff and purging and how good it feels to let go of that stuff. That's what I learned. Richard.
I
Why are you
have
doing
been,
this to me,
Oh,
Richard?
Richard, what's happening? How many billion times have you heard that, Bradburr? Yeah.
That never even occurred to me.
oh. I got to tell this funny story real quick. When I worked for the cattlemen, there was a great person that worked at the Department of Ag. His name was Richard. And of course, I know the other Richard. And I was busy as a one-arm paper hanger one day, and the phone rings, and I just grab it. And I hear, "Hey, Micah, this is Richard." And first thing out of my mouth is, "Oh, Richard, what's happening?" Richard so-and-so from the Department of Ag. And I'd only met him like once or twice, so I didn't know him. And I was like, "Oh, I thought you were my other friend, Richard." Obviously, what can I do for you, sir? But yeah, it was just like, "Oh, Richard, what's happening?" Good lesson for me to make sure I knew who I was talking to. So anyways, sorry, Richard, carry on.
Oh, crap. That's gone now.
Oh, crap. I knew it. Part of me kind of deep down wanted to do that anyways. I learned.
I've been trolling my, I'm a member of a group called Top Tier Impact. Anyways, interesting group. I thought it was a scammy deal at first, but it actually turned out to be legit. I was like, when I paid my membership into it, I was like, this is going to either be $200 that I really miss, or it's going to work out. And luckily it worked out.
Top tier is subscription based now on Instagram.
I forget. I can't remember if it's Top Tier Investors or Top Tier Impact. I don't know. But
I'm just saying, top tier on Instagram is a pretty good account to follow. If you guys aren't following it.
No, I don't think it's the same account, man.
Okay.
But so I have recently become introduced to a acronym called ESG, which is Environmental, Social, and Government, or Governance.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with this, Joel?
I mean, not the acronym, no, but I'm aware of corporate responsibility, which is environmental. What was the other? Social and geographic?
Social and
Governance.
Yeah.
I mean, I work in governance, so it's the same thing.
So,
I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think it's a pile of baloney?
Governance?
No, this ESG. All of them together.
Oh, I don't even know what it is.
Oh.
No, I think it's how it's implemented and how it's defined, I think, is the key. Who's involved, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been trolling them a little bit. I think it's a terrible way to approach impact investing. If you want to make a difference, probably rolling out social order and governance to improve the environment is not the best first step. So it's a really interesting little culture, this group I'm in, because they all desperately want to do something progressive and good, but seem to lack all the social skills and tools that would allow them to do it.
Oh, they might actually have a chance then.
Huh?
They might actually have a chance then.
No, I don't. They all want to change the world, but I don't know if any of them know a mechanic. Just basic people are the people that you're going to have to deal with to make huge social change. And if your vernacular is so divergent from those people, I've been telling them, I don't think it matters how much money you invest. If those people feel that you're culturally separate from them, they'll be happy to take your money, but you're not going to see any impact from it. I mean,
Well,
So they're trying to enact change, but you don't think they even know how to describe the change they're trying to enact?
I've heard of
I
it
spent
called
2 hours.
impact of. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joel.
Go ahead, Joe. No, I wanted to hear your perspective on this.
It sounds kind of like you're talking about impact investing. So
I am. Yeah.
okay, so a lot of banks now are putting together portfolios of funds that you can trade that are full of green companies and environmentally conscious companies, and it's getting more of a viable investment these days, is my understanding. So like it's taken years to get to the point where you're actually going to generate a return, and your institutional clients aren't going to invest in this shit until they get a return on it. And at this point, I think it's finally starting to, be profitable. I mean, of course, you're going to invest in like Tesla and companies like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, it's an interesting new world. I'm learning the ropes of it. I come at it from a much different angle than most of the people.
You come at everything from a much different angle than most people. That's why I love you.
And I'm shockingly candid. I probably don't have some of the polish they would like to see.
I think that's a quality you need to keep a tight grip on that. Your candor is invaluable. Don't worry about it. Just keep being you. Seriously, there's enough people waxing eloquently and full of shit that somebody has to be able to stand up and be like, that's wrong, or that's not going to work, or I've never seen that happen. So, I mean, granted, there's a lot of ways to tell somebody to go to hell, but
I'm not immune from waxing either.
I know. We know that also, but what is that phrase? Like, tact is being able to tell somebody to go to hell and make them look forward to the trip. Sometimes that's important. Other times you just go pound sand, because that doesn't make any damn sense. So I think Churchill said that, if I'm not mistaken. Not the pound sand part, but So, and that leads us to our final segment of the week. The what was the best thing? Best thing of the week. I'll go first since it's right at the top of my head. For the first time since March, I think I was actually in Buenos Aires the last time I was in a restaurant and sat down and had a meal. And today I got to do that with 3 really good friends here in Lincoln. And we picked this nice little crappy cafeteria kind of cafe that makes like really good pie. And of course you can have breakfast all day long. So at like 12:30, you had to have a sausage and cheese omelet with some hash browns and rye toast. And I hadn't had that since March. Like, I haven't had that kind of meal since a long time. But last restaurant I got to sit down in was in Buenos Aires, when there was whores walking up and down the street everywhere and trying to bother you when you're trying to eat. So that was really good. Yeah, they weren't that good looking. And I'm trying to have a steak. Leave me alone. And so,
What, you didn't want a party?
No, I'm having a good time right now. Yeah. There's some great Vegas stories about me and that. But, it was good to sit down with some good friends and just have some fun conversation, just enjoy hanging out. There was 4 of us in the booth. We're just laughing and having a good meal and talking about some of the stuff we've been up to and just catching up. But it was great. You don't realize how much you miss that and how much you take it for granted. So, that was by far my best part of the week, was just hanging out with some good friends and having a meal. Now, it wasn't nothing like I can imagine going to Simi's on a Friday would be, but it's as close as I can get right now. So it's pretty damn good. Richard?
I'm thinking that I'm still pretty stoked about leasing the place that some of my mentors ran.
Absolutely. Someplace you wanted to called up when you were 12 and want to know if you could buy it when they were done. I think that's one of the best stories I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, I'd hate to. We haven't broached that subject with Liv yet, but hope that never comes up. But no, it's hey, that's a little embarrassing, but hey.
Oh, that's awesome.
You got to ask.
But, shooter's got to shoot, man.
And some of my other ranching peers this pandemic has forced them to check their hole cards, and they might be interested in doing some pretty sort of out there type of stuff that I've been around all my life, and just love to have partners to get out there on that edge with me. And I think that maybe this has pushed some of them to that point where they might be willing to entertain some just wild ass harebrained ideas that, just might work, You never know.
I love it. I love it. Beautiful. Mr. Joel.
Hey, going back to the beginning, the best thing of the week is Billy, my friend Billy and his wife came down from Seattle. We went camping. I also got to see my buddy Rawley and his wife. They came into town from Baker.
Oh, nice.
For a night. And the bunch of us got together and had some drinks. And so camping was a great time. And coming back, went to the Saddle for breakfast the next day.
Oh, yeah. I love going. That's a great place in P-Town, Saddles.
I hadn't been there since I was 12. We walked in and Billy was like, this is the first restaurant I've ever eaten in, I think, that doesn't have music playing. It's such a quiet, strange environment.
I hadn't really thought about that. Usually when we go in there, well, sometimes it's just a couple of us, but a lot of times there's 6 to 15 of us in that very back room and just being loud and having fun. But yeah, that's one of my favorite places in P-Town for breakfast.
Good pancakes. Really good pancakes.
The Saddle, yeah.
Yeah.
Saddle, CJ's, and Roosters are probably 3 of the best. If you got 2 hours, go to Rainbow. But yeah.
Dude, I've never been to Roosters before.
Oh, we used to hit that a lot because it's on the way to golf. And
yeah.
We had a great waitress who kind of loved us. Me and Kurt and Pot Roast, sometimes Big Daddy. And yeah, she just loved us because we'd roll in there looking rough and having fun still. And of course, you have Pot Roast anywhere in the public, and then me, I'm going to be spurring him on. So anyways.
Did you see the golf course pictures of the flood?
I did. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Pilot Rock was pretty messy too.
Yeah, I saw some video from that.
How could you tell? Oh.
No, easy on P-Rock. Damn it, I got some good friends out there. You guys are maniacs.
Come on. It's you gotta take every shot at Elgin, Pilot Rock, and
Elgin.
Ontario you can.
Elgin. We used to just torture Elgin in college. Oh my God. Yeah. It was awful. I had some terrible jokes for Elgin. Yeah. That was awful. I did watch the golf match too. That was pretty cool with Tiger and Phil and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tiger won, right?
Yeah, by one hole. Yeah, Tiger and Peyton Manning.
That's it. So it's pretty close.
Very close. Yeah.
Oh, so Peyton finally beat Brady. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If Peyton Manning would have been on Phil's team, they'd have freaking just wiped the map with him, no doubt. Peyton was playing like a maniac. Yeah. Phil drove a par 4. Was pretty damn cool, and then Tom Brady actually made the putt for eagle. It was awesome. But yeah,
is that
of
when
course.
he split his pants?
No, that was a different time. Yeah, that's when he holed out from like 140 yards on a par 5. I think that's when he split his pants. Yeah.
No.
Do you ever wonder what's left for Tom Brady?
Yeah, winning a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. That's what's left.
People have been wondering that for 10 years.
Yeah, good point too.
He's done all the masculine stuff you can do. So
he's got to win in a different time without Belichick. That's what he's got to do next. That's about all there is to it. Yeah. So yeah, talk about the American success story. Last person picked in the draft. He was seeing some pretty hot chicks before he married Giselle, I think, if I recall. I didn't pay much attention to him, but yeah, 6 Super Bowls and married to her and TB12, and he's doing okay. Now he's semi-retired, moving to Florida. So
yeah,
what do you know? So we have the. I think I have the movie to pick for next week in the Word of the Week also. So I had a moment of inspiration on the movie. It's going to be sort of off the beaten path from what we've talked about before. It is on Netflix finally, so I think everybody has access to it. It's by far one of my favorite things I've seen in the past couple of years. It's fairly new on Netflix. It's called Operation Odessa, and it's about when running drugs and when the Soviet Union was falling and all the chaos that was going on by these crazy entrepreneurial types that were buying helicopters and motorcycles and anything else they can get their hands on from the Soviet Republic. It is highly entertaining. My favorite character is the dude they interview on his jet, and that's all I'll tell you. Just something about that dude, man. I'm like, I want to hang out with that crazy guy. I'd probably die within 30 minutes, but I just want to hang out with that guy. And when you watch it, you'll see, I think. But it is really entertaining. I've probably watched it 6 or 8 times in the past couple of years. Yeah. It's like when people come over, I'm like, hey, you seen Operation Odessa? And they're like, no. And it was like I had it on demand, and I'd saved it on my DVR for a long time. And then it finally came out on Netflix just a couple of weeks ago, I think so. But yeah, people would come over and I'd make them watch it. And then they would call me like 2 weeks later. Dude, what was that movie again? I got to watch it again. So I thought I would share it with the group. And it's highly entertaining. So yeah, and I'll try to think of a good word too. So
good, enjoy it, because I got a sucky one for next week.
Outstanding. Sucky word or movie?
Movie.
Oh, okay. And Jesus, if you're saying it's a sucky movie, God knows what we're going to get drug into with that one. So, of course, by then you might.
All-time favorite.
By then you might forget, anyways. We're getting hope. So, any other statements for the good of the order? We've had a great conversation, I think, this week. Some different random thoughts. We missed Mr. Balls a lot in his input, but he must have had something going on with water or hay, or maybe just like, I'm just tired of those a-holes this week and I want some peace and freaking quiet. So can't say that I blame you, but you trudge you down anyways. So anybody else have anything at all want to add? By God. Wow. First time. Well, again, can't thank everybody enough for your time, for listening, for liking. Damn it, I forgot viewer mail again. Somebody got to send me a message and remember to get viewer mail put together. Sorry about that, guys. We'll
have we had any?
Time. Yeah, I get shit all the time. I just don't ever forget to put it all in a big pile. So, sorry. Yeah, I feel bad. I just remembered it. So I'll make me a big note. I'll make an effort to get the viewer mail put together, stuff that's worth passing on. It's not just an insult to me on a specific topic, but not that it's about because I'm getting insults, because it wouldn't mean anything to anybody else. So with that, though, again, everybody please like and share and tell your friends and your enemies about the Far Reaches podcast. And we'll be back before you know it, or maybe before you want it, but hang on tight. We'll see you soon.